welcome to Desi Ballers, the podcast where we talk all things basketball with a Desi twist. I'm your host, Nikhil. I'll be joined by my co host, Gopal, and we have a really exciting basketball show for you. So let's get started. In this episode, the first episode of Desi Ballers, we will be talking about a lot of different things, starting with an interesting guest. We'll be joined by Mr. Sunny Bhandarkar, the CEO of Elite Pro Basketball League. He'll be joining us in another couple of minutes. Let me just check if Gopal is also here. I'm sure you all know him, the founder of Eklavyas. Hey Gopal, what's up?
Hey, what's it going? So sorry, man. Tech issues. I think that's how it starts, right? It always starts with tech issues and then things get better. But I hope you can hear me well.
Yep, we can hear you well. So Gopal, thanks so much for joining in. Now, before we talk, before we get into our show today, any message you have for followers of Eklavyas, for followers of Indian basketball, really,
Hey,
about
yeah, no,
Desi
I'm just
Ballers?
I'm just happy to be doing this. I think it's super exciting for the basketball community to finally have their own talk show. Nikhil, thank you also for making this happen. I mean, this kudos to you and your entire production team. Right, this is just the first episode. We're going to get better and better. So we look forward to the support of everyone who is tuning in and will be tuning in. So yeah, that's it. Nikhil, I think we can bring on our first guest. If I can go ahead and introduce him. So yeah, Sunny Bhandarkar, he is the CEO of the Elite Pro Basketball League, which is India's only 5-on-5 pro basketball league at the moment. So without further ado, let's just bring on Sunny Bhandarkar.
Uh, okay. Hey, Sunny, what's up?
Hey guys, pleasure to be here on the first episode of DC Ballers. How are you doing?
Hey, Sunny, so glad to have you. And I was just telling Nikhil that you're probably one of probably the youngest commissioner or CEO of a pro basketball league or a pro sporting league. So first off, congrats on that. How does that feel to be like the youngest guy in your position?
It
Actually,
feels
I
really
don't know
great.
how old are you, Sunny?
I'm 29, 30 years old. I just turned 30 in March.
Oh my god.
Yeah, sadly, but
Wow.
yeah,
That's awesome, man. Like that's really early to be commissioner of your own league, I must say.
it feels amazing actually because just the fact that all these US investors, the ex CEOs of Mont Blanc, Gucci, CFOs of Pepsi have bestowed their trust upon me, and they are looking at the modern vision that we have to bring, like we have to offer, and that's just an amazing feeling having so many good people backing us up. And I would say, as the things come to fruition, everybody's getting more and more excited about what we're doing. So it's a
Okay,
pleasure.
but Sunny, you're moving too fast. Okay, we are going to start from the right from the beginning. So the first is the preseason. Congrats on that. So can you just take us through the preseason that just happened? I mean, what was that experience like?
The preseason was amazing, actually. I mean, as you already know, we grew from 12 to 16 teams in no time. It was such an amazing, eccentric, power packed kind of preseason, and all the players performed really well. It was a really tough competition. Although I was rooting for the Mumbai Stars, they lost in the semifinals against Chennai Turbos. But nevertheless, I'm happy any which ways.
Yeah,
Really
Nikhil,
cool,
go
man.
ahead.
So when Gopal told me that, dude, there's a basketball league in India, I was like, I had no idea. I am an avid follower of the NBA. So can you tell me a little bit more about Elite Pro Basketball League, your vision, how it started, where are you trying to move this to?
Sure. So we've been working in the university sector since almost 7, 8 years now. What we noticed is that all these sportsmen that we spoke to were always like, when we would ask them like, hey, what's your goal, like, what's your end goal, nobody would ever tell us that we want to be the best player in the world. They would just say, sir, I want to play for India. So I would just like, kind of, it piqued my curiosity a bit, and I asked them like, why do you just want to stop there, like why don't you want to do something bigger than just represent India? He's like, if I get the certificates, I can get a government job. And although that is a really great thing that the government supports basketball players and sportsmen, but that should not just be the end goal. That's just my personal opinion. So when we spoke to them, we were like, okay, you know what? It's not their fault, because right now that is the best thing that the player can get. And once they have a platform where they know, okay, I can go there, I can become, one of the most known faces. We just had to put the platform in place. So that's how the Elite Pro Basketball League came into fruition.
Okay. So how did you go about building it up? How did you get started with this? And overall, like, where do you envision this going to?
We started with the wildcard tryouts actually, because to be honest with you, it was like when we launched, like when we announced ourselves, we got so many entries that we were like, wow, like there's no way that we are just going to get the resumes and be able to filter the talent that we want to have on board. We were like, we need to see them perform. So we did 3 wildcard tryouts um, all over India. The first one was at Hyderabad, where we had around 380 athletes participate. Then the second one was in Chennai, where we had around 500 players participate. And then we had one in Delhi, which had around 900 players participate. So, when we would see them come together and play against each other, we were able to actually filter out the talent that probably did not even get a chance to play for the states before. And it was surprising to me, like, how can such a raw and such an amazing talent not even play for the states? I don't have to say any more about that, but everybody knows why that happens. So, I was quite happy that, they were getting the platform that they deserve. And yeah, so were they. And it was really, like, really amazing to see all these players come together. Um, like kind of just like be so excited and have the hopes in their eyes that I have something bigger that's about to take place. That was just amazing. And our vision, of course, is only one thing. It's about the players. We are a players first company, and only goal that we have is how can we get them better and better, whether it's in terms of skills, salaries, training, whatever it is. So that's the only goal that we have, and I'm pretty sure, like in the next 5 days, we'll be having them, earn better salaries than what they are making right now, and yeah, we'll just get better from here.
So it was very interesting when I was researching a little bit more on the Elite Pro Basketball League, and one of the things was you had a pretty good cash prize of 10 lakh rupees.
He cares
Although,
about the money, man. Sunny. Nikhil is all about the money. Show me the money. And you will go to ask for.
yeah, so I'm actually a marketing guy, a business guy, first and foremost. So there was a 10 lakh cash prize, which, of course, from the context of the American leagues and the European leagues, is like just starting point. But at the same time, if you compare to a lot of the smaller basketball tournaments which happen here, it's like वहाँ पे तो एक 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 हफ्ते का या वन वीकेंड का पार्टी का पैसा मिलता है basically if you win it. But apart from the cash prize, the important thing for me, you rightly said that we are a players first league, and I'm glad you said that, because in the end of the day, basketball is all about the players. So what are your salaries like? What's the remuneration which they can expect to earn if they're playing in the EPBL?
So right now we have distributed in 4 tiers actually, depending on the performance and the accolades that they have accomplished so far. It starts from around 1.5 lakhs and it goes up to 3 lakhs. That is the first season itself. Next season onwards, we are planning to have the auctions as well. This is just a structure that we are kind of putting together to get things started.
Okay.
Okay, no,
So-
this is interesting, right? So one is, of course, you have 3 tiers, right, Sunny? You have tier one, tier two, tier three. Can you just take us through, what are the qualifications to be a tier one player and tier two and tier three? Can you just take us through that?
Right. So, I mean, it's not just about the qualifications, although we, of course, prefer to have people who have represented India on the international level, just because they have slightly more experience, I would say. But it's not like, you need to have a certain amount of, like, accolades to be a tier three or tier two player. It's just a matter of how you perform when it comes to the tryouts. And the preseason was actually kind of a test, to see whether anyone deserves a tier upgrade or a downgrade as well. So it's purely performance based. Like I said, we got so many players who haven't even played states, but they're able to like dunk over probably the Indian players that we have, and without any problem. So it would be unfair to just kind of rank them based on the accolades right now.
Okay.
So it's a mix of both.
Apart from, thanks for that. So anyone listening, if you want to try out, it's open for all, right? Obviously, now this season the tryouts are done, but anyone who's anywhere, even today, Sunny, even on E-Club, we keep getting questions, ki mujhe try out karna hai. I'm like, bhai, pre-season already start ho gaya, ab kya try out karoge, right? So, but that apart from that, but the other question, of course, and this going to the more serious side of it, is that one question we always get is this league, BFI affiliated, right? So, what is your response to that? Like, does affiliation matter? How are you guys going to sustain yourself with or without affiliation?
Great question.
So actually, I would like to add another part to this. For noobs like me who have no idea about Indian basketball scene, what is BFI and what is affiliation? Because I thought like we live in a capitalist society, we live in a democracy. You can just start a league and scale it, right? Like that's my understanding. So I don't know. You'll have to educate me a little bit on this.
So on paper, yes, but practically, it's of course, a bit challenging, I would say, to say the least.
So
But yeah,
what's the BFI and what's the affiliation which Gopal was talking about? Just
so
to
BFI is the Federation of India, Basketball Federation of India. That's
okay,
officially sanctioned by the government of India to kind of you can say govern the athletes, govern the tournaments, govern the events that happen in basketball. So that's BFI.
okay,
What affiliation means is that if we are affiliated by the BFI would support us. Let us use their infrastructure, let us use their referees, athletes, channels probably. So that's what the affiliation gets to a league like us.
okay.
And to answer Gopal's question, we have intimated the BFI. Although we haven't heard a response back from them, we have been kind of going back and forth on paper since the last 1 year almost, but we are yet to receive any formal revert from them. But yeah, we are still working on that nevertheless. But yeah, like I said, with or without the approval, as you can see, we are moving forward, and the players already know what they have signed up for, and they are like, no matter what, like we are behind you guys. So that's what the scenario is right now.
Okay, no, to give more historical context, also to Nikhil also. So, if I understand correctly, right now, Elite Pro League, you had also started something called the UBA, right? Back in the day. So, and that also is one concern that players may have, right? That by UBA ki tarah, agar EPBL, we hope it will stay the distance, right? So, because it should not disappear, because then players will again they'll get stuck, right? That they have committed to this league, and then the league is not, conducting events and things. So can you just take us through what is your long-term plan in terms of how do you guys plan to keep going, after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Can you just take us through that roadmap?
Sure, definitely. So I would say, so we found the UBA, but the management that was controlling and handling the operations after the season two was not done by us directly. So I would say like a lot of the visions that we had were mismatched. Like हम चाहते थे कि domestic players को वो support मिले, they get that kind of limelight. But as you already know, in season two, season three, and season four, a lot of the players that are playing were actually international NRIs, you can say, or probably like not even NRIs, just international players playing. That actually defeated the purpose of why we started the UBA. We wanted to have Indian role models, Indian superheroes, Indian athletes. That wasn't the case. And of course, when you work with those people of that stature, like who have been playing in the NBL or different leagues from other countries, the expectations are always a bit higher when it comes to like remuneration and all that. So we are not about that. We are actually about promoting Indian talent first. We are about creating the Indian superheroes, Indian role models that people can get inspiration from, motivation from. And right now, our business model is in such a way that for the next 10 years, if we don't earn a single penny in revenue, we will still be able to sustain. And we have made sure, like, EPBL is here to stay. We are not here to, like, blow our money away and like do a lot of showbazi, as they call it, and just go away. Even though 10 lakh looks like that, but it's just you can say, it's not even close compared to what we have to offer in the season.
So I have another question about these things. I mean, can someone stop you from launching your league and growing it yourself?
uh, I mean, technically no, they can stop the players, but they cannot stop a company.
I didn't understand. What do you mean by stop the players?
So a similar thing happened back in 2015 or 16, I think. 2016, I think, where the players were banned. Like if you played for the UBA, you could not play for another, any other government affiliated tournament.
And that's important for the players.
It's actually the player's decision to make.
Okay. No, because look, man. So I mean, Gopal, I keep telling this to you, and Sunny, I would love to hear your thoughts. According to me, at least, the competition for a sport, in my eyes, is no longer Olympics is no longer competing with, another sport event or like the World Athletic Games or whatever it is. I think Olympics is now competing with Narcos or another Netflix show.
Yeah.
And I come from that mindset, which is like,
Drive to
boss,
survive.
entertainment karna in the end. Sports is like, in my opinion, one of the best forms of entertainment. When I see a last second shot, irrespective of the stakes, doesn't matter if it's country level or city level, I just jump off the ground.
Yeah.
So I'd love to understand like how does it work really, and my next question related to this is also that you guys on your website also have a women's league.
Mhm.
So how are you? I mean, the NBA women's league has got screwed up, so it's still in a bad mess. So how are you planning to work that around?
So the women actually, I mean, see, there's no reason in today's day that we should neglect the women. Um, and the thing is that when we announced the tryouts and announced the league and the preseason, I mean, I was getting so many emails, so many calls, sir, like why not doing a women's league? And actually, I thought to myself, like, yeah, like why not? Why are we not doing a women's league? There's no reason not to, right? And as you said, no matter if it's women, no matter it's men, the excitement, the thrill of the game stays the same. So, like you have correctly mentioned, like, even when I see a school game happening to this day, I jump off of my seat and I'm like, yeah, like that's a clutch shot, or that's a like an amazing 3 pointer, that's an amazing like clutch move, or whatever it is. So yeah, the women that we have, I mean, it was quite surprising to me. I think like even if we got 200 entries, that would have been a lot. But just in the first hour itself, we got 500 plus entries for the first tryouts, and we are going to have at least 2 to 3 more across the country. So I'm just looking forward to the women as well. We're going to have 6 teams in the first season. So, I mean, that will be another ball.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, the first part before you go, Gopal. So the first part of the question, which was like, isn't your competition a Netflix rather than a basketball federation? I don't know. I'm just trying to understand.
No, absolutely, absolutely, it is. You're right. I mean, entertainment drives sports drives entertainment. It works both ways,
Okay.
and we are all about entertainment. But of course, keeping the players first in our minds. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, we want to like, the first thing is to create a platform where the young generation can draw some inspiration, some motivation from that. The just representing the country is not the end. There's a way bigger ecosystem that you can achieve, and there's no reason why not. LeBron James did not just play because he just wanted to represent the USA. He wanted to be the best player in the world, and
Yeah.
he has achieved it. There's no reason why you can't, like why the Indians cannot do that.
Nikhil,
Absolutely.
to answer your question, right? Because you're interested in the entertainment side of it, they actually got a stand-up comedian to perform for all the players and coaches in the preseason, and they also got rappers. Okay, so I think these are pretty cool sort of innovations. And I tried to get footage of the stand-up comedian's performance, but it was off the record. Right, so I'm sure it was quite
Oh,
entertaining. Sunny, can you take us through the entertainment aspects, like what all you're including in your package, to make it sportainment or compete with Netflix, as Nikhil was talking about?
Right. So yeah, like the opening ceremony was done by 3 rappers, not just one. MZ Bella, DJ Mortals, and Raga, who are like big names. MZ Bella was actually the winner of MTV Hustle. As you know, like basketball and the hip hop culture is like almost like infused together. So when we had them perform, it was a different setup entirely. Like I mean, the players were so happy to see them. It was like a different scenario altogether. We had break dancers come and perform while they were rapping, while they were like doing their thing, and then we had a stand-up comedy show. But that was just for the players, not for the audience, because we wanted the players to have a good time as well. We know that they have played a lot of games and they have probably like had a lot of injuries, so we wanted them to just relax a bit. That's why it was off the record. And the closing was done by a rapper called Karma. And this is just the start. Like I said, this is just the start. We're gonna have a lot of celebrities come in the main season. We are gonna have a lot of brand ambassadors, the faces behind the teams, We are in talks with a lot of Bollywood celebrities to own part of the teams as well. So that they can represent their teams or probably where they are from or maybe their favorite player. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting, and we're going to unfold the cards very soon.
Very cool.
Okay. Any follow-up questions, or Nikhil, should I go ahead and ask the question that I want to ask?
No, you go ahead, man. I'm through.
Okay, so Sunny, you know, right? Eklavya is all about news breaks. So I want you to tell all of us, everyone who's listening in, when, what are the dates? Okay, pre-season ho gaya, lekin season kab hai, both for the men's league and the women's league. Can you make that announcement here live?
Okay, sure, I will. So we are planning the first season in August, late August, and the women's league will actually run simultaneously along with the men's league.
Wow, perfect. Okay. So, Gopal, that's like your breaking news story, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. That's like a couple of months away. So good luck, Sunny. Good luck with both your men's league and women's league, and we look forward to supporting you. You know, from the media side, whatever we can do to promote you and your events. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, Nikhil. Any other off-script questions you like to ask before we let Sunny go?
That's about it, Sunny. Let's see. I'll follow the basketball league this time. I'm
Yeah,
really
you have.
excited to see. And well, you'll be streaming it on your YouTube channel, right?
Yes, we are actually also coming up with our own OTT network, just like the NBA.
Okay.
So that will be launched before the season starts.
Perfect. All
Yeah.
the best, Sunny. Really excited about this. Hopefully, and that's what, as I said, man, your competition, at least as far as I can tell, is not the IBF or BIF. It's like Netflix. That's what I would think.
Yeah,
But thank you so much for being on the show, Sunny. This is Gopal. Let's move on to the next segment. Thanks,
thanks a
Sunny.
lot,
Bye bye.
guys. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Sunny. Yeah.
Okay, so Gopal, now that our first segment is done, let's move on to the NBA side of things. So again, guys, if you want to check them out, like just search Elite Pro Basketball League. It's going to come up very just on your first result itself. So let's talk about the NBA, specifically what's going on with the playoff picture. The season is coming to an end now. We've had a intense season this year, especially with the crazy amount of offensive, legendary performances. A 70-point game by Lillard, uh, the Warriors struggling, the last year champion. But this year, let's start the playoff picture with the Eastern Conference. So, Gopal, I don't know if you've followed the season, but the beginning of the season, Celtics looked like the best team in the league. But then recently they've been sliding. They've not been doing that well. They've lost a lot of games. For the last 10 games, they are like splitting games. They're winning one, they're losing one. And for whatever reason, Tatum and Brown seem to be struggling. The main story for me is in the Eastern Conference is what's happening with the MVP race with with the Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid and Jokic. We'll talk about that a bit later. But if you had to pick anyone, Gopal, have you followed the season? Whom would you pick out of the East?
Yeah, so I already had a favorite from before the season started.
Hmm?
Right. So I know we're talking about the Eastern Conference, but my team has. I mean, I like the Denver Nuggets. Right. So for me, my main point was about. I don't.
No,
You're
let's
already
let's talk
frowning.
about that next. Let's talk about that next. Let's first focus on the East. Whom do you think is getting out of
Okay.
the
So
East?
no, obviously, Celtics have to live up to their expectations, right? In terms of the firepower they have, and in the playoffs, they always somehow they haven't performed as what you would expect, right, from a team of that sort. So I would love it, of course, if the Celtics can do well. So yeah, in theory, I would perhaps be rooting for the Celtics simply because the legacy that the team has.
Okay. In the East, I got Giannis carrying them to the finals again, man. I don't think anyone's stopping that beast. I mean, last year also he almost single-handedly beat the Celtics if it wasn't for few injuries which happened to his team. Uh, but I think this year they are unstoppable. Their defense has been incredible. Brooke Lopez, with his pick and roll defense, has shut down offenses legit. Like the amount of 24 the shot clock violations I've seen just because of that pick and roll defense from a player who is damn slow. Brook Lopez is so slow. Like when you watch him, I think he's the only player who plays slower than Jokic. So I don't think anyone stops them. Because the point here is this: Tatum and Brown are inconsistent, especially in the playoffs. Even last year, that the reason they lost was because of their inconsistency, the Warriors. And I think no one stops Giannis. He is the Shaq of our era. This is he is going to the finals, 100%. Let's move on to the West. So in the West, of course, we have the Nuggets, your favorite team. As you said, you want them to win this year. But for me, the talking point or the story has been the struggle of the Warriors. Now, of course, you'd be like, yeah, Warriors, there's very bad record. They've not been great this year. But one specific thing I want all of you to observe here is their home record. So the best team in the league, which is Nuggets. So of course you have in the East you have Bucks. In the West you have Nuggets. Both of them and the Warriors. So Nuggets, Bucks, and the Warriors have the same home win loss record. So my point here is this: every series, Warriors just need one road game, and I still pick the Warriors going to the finals again, just
That's not a
because.
bold prediction. Come on, man. Like predicting on the Warriors is like honestly, you're playing kind of safe, Like my question to you though is about the Clippers. Now, as you've been watching all the games, right? So my point is Westbrook with the Clippers. How is that mesh happening? Can you just take us through that?
So, see, I would have picked the Clippers had they not got Westbrook, because I've seen enough games to tell you that Kawhi is a beast. The entire since Jan, Kawhi has been one of the most efficient players in the NBA. The problem is once you get deeper and deeper into playoffs, weaknesses get exploited like crazy. And Westbrook is a big weakness. He will be forced into bad turnovers, into bad shots, and you just need one or two possessions in the playoffs to win the games. And I think Clippers screwed up with that deal. I think they shouldn't have done that deal, because adding Westbrook, great player, great energy, in the playoffs, he always screws it up. During the 2015 2015-16 run of the Warriors, when they were down 3-1 to the Thunder, they're down 3-1. I'm watching every single game, and every time at the end of the game they are down, and the Thunder give the ball to Westbrook for 5 straight possessions, and by the end of the fifth possession, Warriors are up. Like, the problem is that you just need one or two positions to go your way, and Westbrook, for whatever reason, in those clutch moments, just screws it up. So I don't think Clippers make it. I don't think Nuggets also make it. I think Nuggets suffer a second round defeat. I don't think they have Jokic is the best player by far, but their defense is pathetic. Even this year, they've been a horrible defensive team. Offensive teams rarely are able to win the whole thing if they don't have a strong defense. So my pick is Warriors again. This year, Warrior pick is a great pick, man. Come on, no one is telling Warriors are going to go to the finals. I'm telling them they go to the finals. And watching
Okay, cool.
Warriors and Bucks go at it will be intense. That's what I
Okay.
would say.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. I agree. For this season, picking the Warriors is a borderline bold move. But the other thing we should talk about, being like a Desi Ballers show, is the only Indian origin owned team, right? The fact that the Kings, they have managed to maintain their wins, right? Like by now you'd have expected them to be out of the playoff contention, but now what? Based on what I can see, they're number three, right, in the West. So what are the Kings legit, or is it just a fad? should we
No, no,
be
I
should we
think
start believing in Vivek Ranadive?
no. So I don't know about the ownership, but they've done some really interesting moves. I will say this: Sabonis has been a great add-on to their team, and Sabonis and Fox duo has done really well, which is why they're doing well. You also have to give a lot of credit to their coach Mike Brown. He's bought a crazy defensive intensity which Warriors had last year. My problem with the Kings is you get to the first round of playoffs. I think Kings win the first round, but once you get to the second round and the third round, that's when pressure starts hitting. That's when it gets intense, and that's where I think Kings is a really young team. I don't think they have enough experience to go through. And when I say experience, it's this, like you saw this last year happening to Celtics also. The first round they looked
Yeah.
great. Second round they were still pretty good. But when it came to the third round and the fourth round and the finals, I mean, sorry, third round and the finals, by the time of finals, you could very clearly see mistakes which they would do regularly. Like Jason Tatum couldn't go to his left. or I mean, Jalen Brown couldn't go to his left. Jalen Tatum was very turnover prone. And in those deep rounds, you just need one or two possessions to swing the game. So I don't Kings are good. I think they'll be in the playoffs this year. I think they'll be in the playoffs next year as well. But I think next year or maybe the year after that is when you can expect to see some sort of, you know, uh, good performances in the playoffs. Not yet. They're not championship ready yet.
No, no. So I have an agenda, Nikhil. So reason why I'm also talking about Kings is we may end up having to promote them, among the Indian basketball community, right? Build a fan base for the Sacramento Kings, the only
Sure.
Indian owned team in the NBA, right? So that's very. Also, what about the Lakers? Let's talk about the play-in, right? Like I was pleasantly surprised to see that the Lakers have bounced back. I think they were what 12th at one point in the West. They're now up to ninth, and Anthony Davis is not injured, which is weird. I'm not used to that. so, so it looks like LeBron is going to be back, right? LeBron, they're saying he may be back towards
Yeah, so
like
I
one or two
think
games
if
before the.
Lakers if Lakers win their play-in, which is going to be a hard game, and LeBron is back and he's fully functional, the current composition of Lakers with the after the trade, I think is a crazy threat for Nuggets. I'm not even joking
Hey, you just want
because
to take down the Nuggets,
because
man. You're a Nuggets hater, dude. Like I don't like this one.
dude, because Jokic is completely cancelled out by Davis if he's not injured. This happened in the like during the what is that called, during the lockdown season, the COVID season, wherein the problem is not that Jokic is a bad player. The thing is Davis nullifies him. Like, and after that you go player by player. Who's gonna nullify LeBron? Like the Nuggets don't have that guy. Like they don't have someone who can nullify LeBron's impact. So I don't think, I don't know. If Lakers win the play-in and they get the eighth seed, I really think they bounce the Nuggets in the
Yeah.
first round. So let's move on to the next story about the NBA, which is the MVP race. So, which is Jokic and Embiid. I don't remember when the MVP race was so controversial. I have no idea why people are getting so psyched about this. But if you look on paper, both of them are having incredible seasons. It's going to be a toss up. I don't know why people are getting angry, making it a racism issue, getting offended that someone said Jokic has to be the MVP. I don't understand. Like, it's just this is probably the nature of companies like Eklavya's, Gopal. The media narrative trying to just create polarity. तुम लोग कब बंद करोगे ये सब बकचोदी?
Oh. No, but I mean, there are very strong arguments, right, historically about uh, Embiid sort of being denied the MVP, right? So I mean, law of averages, right? So I believe in parity, equality. So I'm like Embiid ka time bhi aa raha hai, I think, right? Because the point is, I don't is Jokic are Jokic's numbers. It can't be better than the last season, right? Because last season it was crazy. So I'm guessing.
No, no, it's actually better than last season. That's the crazy
Okay,
part, right?
this is
Like he has a true shooting percentage of 70% plus, dude. Like you get him the ball 3/4 of the time, he's getting you a bucket. Like either a
that's
pass or a 3-pointer or whatever it is. It's 70% is unheard of, and that too, like Jokic is not a player like Shaq or Giannis who just
yeah.
they're very close to the basket. Jokic takes a lot of 3-point shots, takes a lot of mid-range jumpers, and to have a true shooting percent of 70% is just crazy. But then at the same time, Embiid is having a 33 point 10 rebound season. Like That's never happens in Shaq, right? Like,
Yeah, video game numbers. Yeah, crazy.
so it'll be very interesting to see. So let's move on to our next segment. Gopal, over to you.
Oh yeah, sure. Awesome, awesome. I was this is something that really excites me, of course. Whenever I see Nikhil, whenever I see Indian players playing professionally abroad, because this is a narrative or a storyline no one really knows about, right? That okay, that we may not have an Indian in the NBA, but there are so many leagues in the world, right? So Samson Sandhu is a super inspiring, figure in Indian basketball, a young upcoming talent. He's played on the Indian U18 national team, and Nikhil, when you see him play, you like the way he moves. He's one of the most fluid movers on the court. He plays the point guard position, and that makes it even more impressive. His accomplishments. He'll be starting his second season in the Victorian State League, right? The big V is what it's called, right? So that's in Australia. So he just signed up for his second season there. So yeah, so let's just bring Samson on.
Hey,
Hey
Samson,
guys.
great to have you.
Hey
Hey
Nikhil, nice
Samson,
to
how is
meet
it
you.
going?
Good, good.
So thank you so much
Okay.
for joining us from Australia. Uh,
Yep.
like the very first question, I had no idea actually uh, that we actually had Indian players going abroad. So Gopal was the first one who actually introduced to me that, dude, we have
Hmm.
Indian players playing in different leagues, man. What are you doing? So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Samson, can you please tell me how you got into basketball and how did it even start?
Yeah, I think for every Indian, I would say like for me, my first love was cricket. So up until I was in fifth grade, I played cricket all time, like on the street, anywhere I could think of. And then I was living near a YMCA, and I lived on the same street as the ground. So there was a coach that used to see us just playing cricket, and he just introduced us, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you just come and try and play with us?" So I think that's when it started. It used to be just once a week. I still remember just like Mondays from 4 to 5 an hour, and like yeah, it was interesting because I didn't know the game as much, but I was still excited. I was like, when is Monday gonna come back again? Because we would only get once a week. And then as time went by, it was twice a week, and it was twice a week for a very long time. But I think yeah, grade six is when I really started picking up basketball.
Superb, man.
Okay. I have a question. Okay, so this, even though I've been covering Indian basketball for a while, I'm very interested. I'm intrigued by your own background, right? Samson Sandhu, first of all, is the
Hmm.
most badass name. I think it's something from a marketing perspective. I'm like, dude, the double S man, like S2, whatever, right? So are you Punjabi? Are you Maharashtrian? Can you just take us through like your family background? Like, were you into, is family into sports? Like, can you just tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. But before I get there, I have three S's in my name. So it's Samson. My middle name is Stephen, which is my dad's name, and then
Oh
Sandhu.
my
So
god. We need
it's
another big
S3.
baller
So
brand type brand for
yeah.
Samson.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know. But yeah, to answer your question, I think so. My grandfather was Punjabi, so he was from Lahore, and then when the partition happened, he was like in his teens, and he had to move over to Delhi, and then he moved to Delhi. My grandmother was from Mangalore, so she's a little South Indian, and she was dark. So I feel like that's like everyone in my family is lighter. So yeah, that's them. But then my grandmother was Catholic, and then she married my grandfather, and then he converted to Catholic, and then we all became like a Catholic. But then even like in my family, my aunt, she married a Marathi, and then my another aunt, she married a Punjabi, and then my dad was still in the Catholic side. So everyone is like everywhere.
So he's like your
Wow.
proper Indian.
Yeah.
We are known all about mixing of spices and masalas. So there you have. So I think the name of your brand can be Slam Spice Sandhu.
Ooh, that's
So
actually very
yeah.
interesting. I like that.
Anyway, yeah. So I'm curious about the only time I'd heard about the Australian basketball leagues and all of this was two times. One was uh, when the Warriors center Andrew Bogut had retired, and he played his last season of professional basketball in a Australian league. And the second one
Hmm.
was LaMelo Ball playing in Australian basketball league. I don't know which one. So
Yep.
how did you even like get this opportunity of getting into Australian basketball leagues? And you know the team which like the team which you're playing for, like what was the journey to get recruited by them or drafted by them, or how does it work?
Yeah. So in Australia, like you said, Lamelo and Andrew Bogut, they played in the NBL one, so that's like the biggest league in Australia, like NBA. And then below that, there's NBL one, and then below that, which is us, Championship Men, which is like the Victorian Basketball League, Big W. And then even under Big W, there's like Division One. So last year when I came straight off of college. I finished in May of 2020. So I graduated from Ohio Christian, played 2 years of college basketball there. And then while I was transitioning to playing professional, and that's when like COVID hit. So I had almost 8 or 9 months to just pretty much not do anything and then just figure out what I actually wanted to do with basketball. And then I met up with one of the coaches who has played in the NBL before and has a lot of connections. So last year, this time I came here. I just packed my bags, came here. No team signed me, and I tried out for this other Division One team, and I played with them from March till about August. So I only played for 2 months because I had to get cleared from FIBA and get cleared from my previous school because you need to get like your clearance ready and stuff. So I think that took a little bit. Um, and then finished my season last year, and I felt like I think I could see myself moving up a ladder. So there was this other team that had tryouts going on, and this was I was still in Australia last year. So from October to November, I kept trying out with this team, and eventually they were like, "Yeah, I think you're a really great fit for our team." And they're like, "All right, we're hoping to sign you." And I came back home, finished all the contract stuff, and then this is pretty much just I think like one big thing for me was just networking and connecting with people.
No, this is
Okay.
crazy, and what also makes your accomplishment even more impressive, Samson, is the fact that you play the guard position, right? Because we have seen in the past,
Hmm.
whenever Indians get opportunities abroad, right? Even in the NBA G League, or even the famous example of Satnam Singh, or even in Australia, right? In NBL, we had Amritpal Singh, who was a center, right? And even
Yep.
this, even personally, when I have tried, getting Indian players into leagues abroad, they keep saying, "Bhai, if it's anyway guards, we'll find other players, right? We need tall guys from India."
Hmm.
So there are a couple of questions here. One is, did you have to battle stereotypes? Like, did you have to convince people, "Hey, I'm an Indian guy, I'm a guard, but I can play the guard position, and I can hang with the best"? That's the first question. The
Hmm.
second one, of course, just the mindset, right? Like,
Hmm.
you're going somewhere where no other Indian in your position on the court has gone before. So did you have to battle both these two things, your own internal restrictions you'll place, and also external sort of you know uh, criticism or skepticism over the game?
Yeah,
And I
no,
have
definitely.
so before you answer that, I also have
Hmm.
an a more practical question. And Gopal, I'm sorry I am doing this, but Samson, I hope the league you're playing in pays well. So
Hmm.
please answer that as well.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
please
yeah,
go ahead.
Always about the
yeah.
money, man. Samson, he's always about the money, dude.
That's good. I mean, probably he's a hustler, I'm guessing, but no. But yeah, I think stereotypes definitely. When I first, I think you probably have seen me, Gopal, but when I was like finishing under 18s, I was really skinny, and then I went to Kochi and trained with Elevate X, and like I think that Jonathan pretty much introduced me to them. He was begging them for me to train with them for like a couple years, and then I actually went there, stayed there for like 2.5 years, 3 years, trained on my body, and I got a little bigger, and then that's when the opportunity came to go to the Ohio. So I was really skinny before, but then like I think I put on a little bit of muscle mass and got a little bigger. But then when I landed in the US, everyone, there's like white guys, there's black African Americans, and like when I first walked in for our first team practice, like everyone just looked at me and was like, okay, like this guy is not, like he's just like a brown Indian dude, like who doesn't really know much. But I like First
Who should be
practice, like
answering
from
support queries in an IT company, I'm sure.
oh no, but it was good. Like they were really surprised, and everyone was just like looking at me. I was like, who is this guy? And I think from that point on, I knew like I think I just need to keep pushing myself because I think from that point on, like I was always seen to be like, okay, he's just like 5'8", probably 5'9" with shoes, but like I was always been small, the smallest guy on the team. But like for me, like I think that fuels me, and that just like drove me even more to even just keep training. And then the next thing I know is I'm the captain of the team, and like I'm starting point guard for college, and that was like the biggest moment for me. So even now, stereotypes are still there on the team. I'm still the smallest guy. And last night, like, there's this guy who always makes fun of me. He's like, "Oh, you're from India." Like he actually will say that, "Oh, you're Indian." He doesn't know. And I dropped him last night. Like I dropped him. Everyone's just going crazy on our video. Like we have a messenger group, and people are posting like all these ankle breakers, and I was like, "Yeah, he needs to get that." So
Can you
yeah,
please share the
definitely.
clip with us? I'd love to share it on all
Oh,
of our
so it
platforms.
wasn't on tape, but the people, like all my friends were putting memes of, yeah, all these, yeah, it was bad. Like they were just exploding. But it was good. Like but yeah, for me, stereotypes are always in there. What was your second question, Gopal? Was it relating
Yeah, so
to?
about the adjustment, like playing in the US, playing in India, and playing in
Hmm.
Australia, what are the similarities, differences, how do you adjust your game, and also culturally, like in terms of living, right? Like you're
Yes,
leaving your home, you're leaving everyone, behind, constantly moving from one continent to the next, right? So on court, off court, the
mhm.
adjustments.
Yes. On court, I think I was kind of good because I watched a lot of YouTube. Derrick Rose is probably like my favorite player right now, and I still watch his stuff. But like, I think YouTube did definitely teach me a lot in that 3 years while I was in Kochi, because I think the terminologies we use, like like flare screens and all of that stuff, like there's those little things that we don't get in India, like no one teaches you like positions because you always know as like a zero or like 45 or like center, but it's like actually wing. You have corners, short corners, you have the nail, and like all these terminologies were something I had to get because they like when you get to college, you're not gonna, their coaches aren't gonna teach you that. So plays are designed using those words. So I think those players, like I think our coach, I was lucky enough to have him, and he did a really good job, like of teaching everything. And we spent hours, like 2 practices a day for 5 days a week, and it was really good. So I think I did a pretty good job of adapting. So I think that's number one for me. I was just like adapting anything the coaches were throwing at us. It was really good. Off court, uh, growing up in Mumbai, you never see snow. But like I went to Ohio, and it was the coldest. Like it was minus 45 degrees Celsius at one point. It
Oh
was.
yeah.
We still had to go to class. If you miss class, you're running for practices. So you had to be in class on time and make sure you go. So like yeah, my first winter in Ohio was crazy. It was really cold. Apart from the cold, I think I was pretty fine. Like food, I used to eat everything, like chicken. I don't know if I'm allowed to say beef or anything, but like beef, pork,
You're allowed. You're in
anything. So
Australia, man. You can say
You're
it.
in Australia, man. Chill.
I know when I come back, I don't want people coming at me. So I just want to be on the safe side. But yeah, I ate everything. So food was good. And then halfway through the semester, like I started cooking myself because like I saved a lot of money there as well because like you have to pay food and accommodation because my scholarship wasn't full scholarship, it was partial. So I had to like get scholarships beyond like my athletic ability. So but yeah, um but yeah, everything else was pretty good. I think it gave me a good time, and it's like nice to know that I've played in 3 continents, and like I use that to my best advantage. Um, I think yeah, remember Nikhil, you had the question about like getting paid. So first year I didn't get paid because I came here and then I just tried out and played with the team. But they were paying me to They paid me really good last year, like about, I would say, like $8,000 to $9,000 while I was here working. So I used to do these things because they have these things called Aussie hoops and baby sharks. So baby sharks is like our team was called Southern Peninsula Sharks. So there's these kids that come and you just have to do like a little bit of 30-minute, just to help kids with some basketball. So I had like kind of that job as a trainer because part of my visa, I couldn't work outside of that. And even now I can't work outside of my club. So I'm still doing the same thing like this year again. So so we have two imports. Um, when I was talking through my contract, and Jonathan is my agent, so we were just like wondering, okay, like this time we need to make sure like I get paid. And then I was about to get paid until the second import. So the second import wasn't coming in, but then he made up his mind. And then so they're like both Americans. And again, the stereotypes Americans get, 1 foot over me, obviously. So they came in, and then I didn't get the paying spot, but the club um just slightly adjusted that I'll be doing a certain amount of like work for them, and like it's just like training kids and doing like these high performance trainings and skills development stuff, and just giving me all access to. So they have like a doctor this shooting machine that they're like, hey, you can use this and like have people and families that are interested in training with you. So that's just how it works for me right now. It's just like I'm pretty much building my own brand, and it's in a kind of way. I think it really helps me because I think that's what I want to be in the future, like be a skills development trainer, and like I can see that like building my brand. So not getting paid to play, but that's my goal. Like next year, like I just want to have a really good season this year and like make myself known, and so I can move my one up the ladder to NBL one.
Okay, interesting. One
Mhm.
very important question I like to ask any basketball player I meet these days.
Mhm.
About 8 years ago, I would ask, "Can you dunk?" But I don't really care about dunks now. How long is your range? How far away
Ooh,
can you shoot consistently from? How
consistently,
many
I think
steps?
once
How many steps away from the 3 point line can you shoot consistently from?
consistently, I'd say one step back. I think beyond that, it doesn't feel natural. I feel like I'm pushing it, so I just say like a step back from the 3 point line. But
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
awesome. So we'll have Gopal thought of this. I love the
Mhm.
idea. We'll have a very quick rapid fire before we let you go. So,
All right.
Gopal,
Hey,
any other
Nikhil, I have a
questions before
name
we
for this,
start
by
then?
the way.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Nikhil, I have a name for this. We're going to call this section 2-on-1. Okay, two of us versus a pro athlete. I think that's a fair. We're still going to lose by like a double digits, but let's call it the 2-on-1. Oh, right, you
I'm
brought it
game.
on the screen. I love it, man. That's brilliant. We just came up with this right away.
Done. Let's
Okay,
do
yeah,
it.
go ahead.
So, Samson, the way this works is don't think too much, just answer. It's a rapid
Yeah.
fire. Your favorite NBA team?
Ooh, Portland.
Why?
Damian Lillard. Yeah,
Favorite
Damian
NBA
Lillard.
player? So that's Damian Lillard. Why Damian
Hmm.
Lillard?
I think loyalty is one of the things. Like he could be on any team right now. Any team would love to have him. It's just his style of playing, like just his playmaking skills. He's quick, and I feel like I see myself in his shoes. I actually have like one of my game shoes, like is like his Damian Lillard trade. So I have his signature shoes. So, but yeah, he's just his ability to get to the rim, still find guys, like make a lot of assists, and someone who can shoot. I think yeah, that's what I look forward to.
Gopal.
Okay, favorite Indian player and why?
Sambaji Kadam. I think like I didn't know him a lot when I was growing up. Everyone used to tell me like, "Hey, you seem to kind of like have his game," because I was more of like an assist guy, like no look passes and knowing like how to find guys. Not much of a scorer. Like I didn't have a good shot, but then like after I saw him and I was like, okay, I see it now. Like why people kept saying like you are playing a little bit like him. So yeah, definitely him.
just a quick timeout. I'm taking a timeout. Okay, Nikhil. So
Mm-hmm.
Sambhaji Kadam was like this incredible point guard. I've seen his, like, he was like, when you see him play, he's like full flash. Okay, so I totally, I second, and I love that example, Samson, that you gave. Now the other next question that we have to ask, now that you're in Australia, you have perspective, right? The one thing
Yep.
that, only one thing that you can change in Indian basketball. You may have many, but one thing.
One thing. Wow. I think just have a lot of games. I think instead of having tournaments, I think having the switch of having this leagues that are playing like even for like 2 or 3 months, like but I think like when you play team just like a tournament, you're only practicing to the tournament, and then once the tournament is done, like teams don't practice anymore. But like when you're in the season, you play like maybe once or twice a week, and then let's say you play on Wednesday, and then you're like, oh wow, like we didn't do this good, so teams can go back, work on themselves Thursday, Friday, and then play on Saturday or Sunday. So I think that the system, I wish the system changes, but I mean, India is more like there's a lot of working population, so like maybe they can't do weekdays, but they can definitely do weekends. So I think that'll be a good change.
So I hope you're following the NBA season. So who's not making the playoffs?
Ooh, recently I haven't been watching, but I watched the OKC and Lakers, Clippers today. So I
Oh, that
think
was a good
they
game.
are like okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was good. But I think a lot of like, I followed the West because I feel like the West is like a good competition.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like there is
East is top
from
heavy.
yeah, East is still good. But I think Western Conference, there's teams from the fifth through the 10th. Everyone are kind of like in the same, like it's like 34 wins, 36 wins. So they're like in a tight spot, and I would love for Lakers to still come back in because they're, I think, having D'Angelo Russell back, and then like the new squad. I think they've been winning a lot of games. So and like LeBron is still out, so when he steps in, I think they're probably trying to see if he might get back like last 3 games of the season or something. But like even while he's out, they're still winning. I think that's something that they're gonna push for. Lakers.
Okay. So
Okay.
that's about it. Thank you so much. Very quick, rapid fire
Yeah,
done.
I think
Gopal,
we'll
over
move
to you.
to the next segment. I think I mean, thanks for your rapid fire answers with
Mm-hmm.
explanations. So it became rapid fire with sort of subtitles and subtext. So that was that was, that was interesting. So, but this is again a new section that we are sort of introducing to Indian basketball. I'm calling it Kicks Ki Kahani. I don't know if Nikhil is
Mm-hmm.
going to approve of this name, but that is something we can figure internally, right? But
No, I'm good.
Samson,
I'm good.
we
I love the
asked you
name.
to sort of get to sort of take us through your favorite sneakers that you have. I think I can almost see it in the background, but can you just, what are your favorite sneakers? Can you show us what you're wearing, and what takes you through, what makes you decide? What are the parameters, like in terms of performance, right?
Yeah.
Not just the aesthetics, but as a point guard, how do you decide these are the shoes that you're going to wear, and what are the things you think about when you
Yep.
decide to wear shoes in a game?
Yeah. I'll show you this one shoe. So this is like the Damian Lillard 3. It's like a mid rise. So this shoe, it feels like you're putting on a sock. I just have to put my feet in. Like I don't have to tie the laces to keep tying it, and then but and I also have the KD Tray fives. So they're pretty good, very light. Like these are just light. They're kind of worn out, but yeah. So my favorite shoes. Growing up, I wore a lot of Adidas shoes, and then when I went to the US, your college team was sponsored by Nike, and we had to wear a lot of Nike. So Nike has been the most recent ones, but I always love wearing Adidas shoes, especially low ankle, because I think it's like a stereotype again where guards need to be shifty, and low ankle shoes definitely helps. Um, but I think there's two things that I look for, even if it's like a non-name brand or like a non-signature shoe. First one is just like traction. um, I actually just buy shoes from Nike and I go on court and like see if the traction is good. And if the traction is not good, I'm like returning them. So traction is like the number one thing. Like I don't care like what how good the shoe looks or like anyhow. I just want to be able to move. Like if I don't move, like I'm not playing my game anymore. So I think number one thing is traction. Second one would be cushioning. My foot it's not I don't have a big arch, so it's a little bit like when I step down my foot just like kind of levels up, so I don't have a good arch in my foot, so I need to find shoes that have like an arch inside, or like I haven't tried to put on like an insole yet. I don't know how that's gonna work, but I try to find shoes that have like an arch inside. So those two things pretty fair, and obviously need to find like light shoes, for me to, because people say I have skinny legs and I can jump higher than you, so like that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, so I need light shoes. Traction, cushioning, and weight. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
perfect. Thank you so much for
Mm-hmm.
this. So the next question, your goals for yourself and your team for the upcoming season.
Oh, yes. Goals for myself. I definitely want to be a starting point guard. And yeah, like right now I'm not. We just played one game and I only got like 15, 20 minutes. Didn't do really good. I didn't even take a shot. So I think moving forward, like my goal needs to be to just give 100%. Like in practices, I feel like I'm kind of like the best player. Like I make a lot of shots, do the plays right. But in games, like kind of, I think I'm pressuring myself too much. Definitely the realistic goal is to have a winning season through the team. So just I need to be. We have like currently 10 teams in the league, and only top four makes it to the playoffs. So definitely want to make it to the playoffs. As personal, I would love to have a double digit scoring. So like 10 points, maybe 10 assists or more. So just like being the double averages. And yeah, just make this season a highlight to step into the next league, which is the NBL one. So those are my three realistic goals.
I have another goal for you, man. You gotta get the Lillard
Mm,
range.
ooh, I think I think the next thing I see after the Laird Rage, and if I miss, I'm going on the bench.
Yeah, that's a bad shot for anyone other than Steph Curry and Dame Lillard, so I can understand.
I know they get the
So,
green light.
so moving on. Uh, uh, this was all, and hopefully you're able to accomplish your goals, Samson. Thank you so much
Hmm.
for joining us,
Thanks, Nicole.
and
Yeah.
really pumped to see an Indian player doing well in a pretty
Hmm.
competitive league. So Australian Basketball League is all the leagues over there. I mean, they're quite competitive. I'm sure you've experienced that. So
Hmm.
super cool, and thank you so much for joining us, Gopal. Over to you.
Yes.
Thanks, Samsung, and good luck for your season.
Yes. Thank you, guys. It was fun.
Bye. Okay, so guys, we've just finished our second interview with an international player. Moving on to our next segment, which is a what if scenario.
Yes,
So,
sir.
the the uh, the what if scenario for today is related to a really cool Netflix movie which has come out, which is Chang Can Dunk. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen this. If you haven't, you should check it out. It's a very nice, light-hearted movie, uh, just showcasing, the impact of basketball in a young man's life. And Gopal, I mean, before we get into the what if, any review about the movie?
Yeah, so I actually I watched it last night, right? So I was very prepared for today, and you're right. You told me it's just a feel good. It's a typical Disney movie. So yeah, it was great. Very uplifting story, and I like the fact that it shows the arc of a character, right? Like it's classic moral, right? Moral classic Disney one where you lie or you do something below the belt, right? You get caught for it, and you also have a chance at redemption, right? For those who haven't seen the movie, it's a pretty straightforward story, right? And there's a guy who's 5'8". Nikhil, by the way, is how tall are you, man? You're like 6'1", right? Wait, you're
I'm 6'3".
six.
I'm 6'2", 6'3". Yeah.
Yeah, so Nikhil won't appreciate this, right? So it's more for people like me. Like I'm 5'9". So it's about so just someone like we all have this dream about dunking, right? So there's this guy called Chang, who's like a huge NBA fan, specifically a Kobe fan, right? So and he doesn't make it to, I mean, he doesn't even try out for his high school team. And then of course there's this love interest, and all of these things sort of motivate him to get into a bet with the star of the high school team, right? And he says them that I'm going to be able to dunk by the time homecoming happens, right? So end of the semester or whatever. So that's the whole story and how he goes about doing that. So yeah, pretty
Yep.
cool movie. I liked it, man, Nikhil. I think, and it made me want to work on my vertical, right? So I wanted. I'm like, ये मुझे भी करना है, भाई. Like it was pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, really cool movie. And what I liked was the main underlying theme. One of the reasons I did myself also get into basketball was you start terrible, but when you keep at it, right, you become really good at it. And this has pretty much been the story of my career as well, where when you start something you'll be shit, but then when you keep at it and you put everything you have, you will become pretty good. It takes time, but that's what basketball teaches you, that's what sports teaches you, and that was the underlying theme of this movie. So I really loved it. Has a lot of funny moments, has really catchy moments. There's a very nice dynamic which he has with his mother, which I'm sure a lot of Indians will relate to. A lot of American movies don't really capture that relation with parent that well, but in India, you actually my brother keeps telling the concept of filial piety, where you have a really important relation with your parent in a lot of Asian countries, and that's not there in a lot of Western countries. So they've showcased that in a very nice, subtle way. And loved the movie. Everyone should watch it, especially show it to your kids. They'll understand the value of, well, working your ass off. So, but the what if today is, if Chang was replaced by an Indian, what would the movie be called? So, Gopal, any ideas?
Yeah. So I think I'm sort of playing into the stereotype when I say this, okay? But if there was an Indian version of Chang Can Dunk, it will be Chatur Can Coach. See, man, Nick, think about it, okay? Think about it. Like, with always the conversation is when is there going to be an Indian in the NBA? Why can't we say when is there going to be an Indian coach in the NBA, right? Or why
Absolutely.
not? So I'm saying, or an Indian ref, right? So Chatur can coach, or I don't know, like Manjunath can ref. I, I'm saying Manjunath because that seems to be the most common name in Bangalore, by the way. I'm sure Nikhil, everyone in Bangalore is called Manjunath. But I don't know if you noticed. So,
Oh God. Okay. Yeah,
okay,
I
man.
think Chatur can coach is killer, man. I don't think we need to do anything more than that.
I'm sure you came up with something, right? What is your take?
No, I actually tried to brainstorm. I couldn't come up with much. Uh, I don't know, for some goddamn reason, every time I started thinking, I always started with sing can. I don't know why. Because because there have been so many movies made with sing in India, right? And for whatever reason, even in my head, uh, you have like, instead of thinking I'm Marwadi, I'm Rajasthani, instead of thinking of Marwadi names, or instead of I'm from Bangalore, instead of thinking South Indian names, I was like, sing can what? I couldn't come up with anything. So yeah,
No,
that
no,
was.
Nikhil. Actually, it's very sophisticated. You're thinking. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because uh, because actually we're pretty sure that the first Indian who's going to be in the NBA is going to be a Punjabi guy. Okay. No, no, I'm serious. This is legit. This is something I'm sort of trying to get trending for many years. Okay, it's something called Sing Sanity. Okay, which is
Oh.
basically we're going to have an Indian in the NBA. He's going to be a Sardar. Pretty sure about that, right? Because they're looking at tall guys like a 6'8" wing, like a Kevin Durant equivalent, right? So maybe this is very prophetic on your part, to think of Singh. I just think it's it's very apt. Kudos to you, man.
Let's move on to our next segment. So, guys, that's pretty much the conclusion of the podcast. This is our first episode. Gopal, any parting words? This is on the Eklavya's platform. What do you have to tell to everyone who's following Eklavya's
No,
about the Desi Ballers
I'm just
podcast?
glad. First off, to the guests, man, to the guests for joining us. I just think it's wonderful to have the CEO. He doesn't like him calling himself a commissioner, so he calls him the CEO of the Elite Pro Basketball League. So thank you to Sunny Bhandarkar. Thank you to Samson Sandhu also, because he's in Australia, so it's like pretty late now and the season has started. So first off, a big thank you to these guests who have supported us. We literally came out with this entire idea of the show, Nikhil, in the last 4 days. So just for these guests to sort of come in and share their thoughts, they're so candid about it. And thanks to you also, Nikhil. And this guys, keep a lookout for Nikhil. You're going to see him a lot. So everyone in the Indian basketball community, this is a face you're going to have to live with. So we are going to so that's just something. So we're just excited to bring this to you. And Desi Ballers, we hope it can continue, tracking Indian basketball and also the NBA and everything with an Indian touch. So that's it from my side. Nikhil, any parting words before we sort of sign off?
Oh, yeah, one parting word I do have. If you guys end up listening to here. So, guys, look, Indian basketball scene is bad. Okay. It's bad because there's no money in it.
Money.
This was
Oh
my
man,
pitch
what
for
a theme! This is
Gopal.
a theme alert, man.
So this was my pitch to Gopal when we started Desi Ballers. That good, we gotta grow it and make it big so that we get money into Indian basketball. So for you guys, please do subscribe to the Eklavya's YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, because when we go to brands and speak to them, this is all they ask: how many followers do you have? How many viewers do you have? They don't really care what impact you're making. And honestly, as a marketer myself, that's the same question if even I would ask if Desi Ballers would come to me. So the goal is simple. We want to make sure that Indian basketball grows. And for that, you like it or not, we live in a capitalist society. We need money. And for that, we need viewers, we need audience. So please do share this podcast with as many people as possible. If you're someone in the basketball community who wants to come onto the show, please don't forget to write to me or write to Gopal. My handle is right there, Nikhil Bhansali. Yes, Gopal, you can reach him out on any of the Eklavya's handles. Thank you so much for watching the first episode of Desi Ballers.